I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, good morning. This is a Friday once again, and usually Friday comes right after Thursday and just before Saturday. And no precedent has been broken, and it is Friday. If you were looking for the weekly broadcast of Ask Walfare Rights, you found us. I always say us because I'm used to being here with my colleague, Marion Kramer, who is in semi-retirement. So this is the weekly broadcast of the Ask Walfare Rights program. We try to come and bring information that would be of assistance to the community, information that may be of assistance particularly to low-income families, low-income moms and dads that may have some struggles with a light bill, a gas bill, a water bill, back taxes, those kinds of things, looking for housing. And once again, we're here. There will be, in just a few moments, call-in numbers on the screen. You already know what they are, 313-868-0342, or you can call in at 868-0351, or we'd be happy to hear from you at 868-4336. The website access information is www.tv33whpr.com. Once again, if you have one of those rabbit ears, or a old metal clothes hanger and one of those old television sets, you can watch us after you connect those things together to WHPS 15.2. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with Walfare Rights, and I've got a few things to report out today. I guess what is on everybody's mind, or should be, these wild forest fires that have erupted in certain parts of Canada, and the winds are blowing them from west to east. And then we've got some wildfires in upper Michigan that joined in with that. And now we have air action alerts. I'd never heard of that phrase before in this area. Air action alerts. I know that happens all the time in California. They're in constant fire mode. But I haven't heard of that happening here before. And apparently it's quite serious. The quality of air, certainly in Michigan. They talked about New York and places in Philadelphia had the worst air quality circumstances than even third world countries. And that was quite severe. Dismissal of schools, postponing baseball games, outside activities and whatnot being curtailed everywhere because the air quality issues are significant. And you know, my engineer always takes care of me, and he already brought me something in case my nose starts to go crazy. But I have severe allergies, very bad hay fever, so I always have to be careful. And I remember about 3 days ago, on my way wherever I was going, and happened to look up and saw the sun setting, and it was bright orange. And I thought, oh, what a beautiful sunset. I've never seen it quite that color before. And at that time, I didn't realize that the setting of the sun and this air quality particulates and pollutants that are in the air because of these major forest fires had made that great big old sun look bright orange and significant as you were driving down the street. and you recognize it. I didn't realize that that's what was the reason for this. What it was absolutely breathtaking and beautiful, but it was because of these dangerous conditions out here. And of course, the first question that comes to mind is, well, what can we do about this? Well, wearing a mask, that's always the message. I mean, if nothing else has occurred, we have been trained to wear masks to avoid circumstances in breathing. Mr. and Mrs. COVID taught us that. So we understand about wearing masks. And then the other advice that I continued here, because I really looked at this on TV and weather channels and science channels yesterday, and that information says curtail your outside activities. Don't open the windows in your home because you don't want that quote, quote, bad air to get inside. Well, if you don't open the windows and you don't go outside, there's still air in your house. You still have to breathe, and there's still air in there. So the rooms of your home. So I guess that message is you can mitigate the damages by not placing yourself in the open air. And I don't know if that's true or not. Seems to me that if there are massive forest fires and certain particulates and pollutants are being spread all around, that going and staying inside your house, or if you have to go out and go to work or go to the store, or wherever it is you have to go, wearing a mask now becomes an issue. So many of you know Walfare Rights, we collected cases and cases of masks last summer and gave about half of those cases away, but kept quite a few, knowing that something was going to occur. Something always is going to occur. So if you happen to be in a circumstance and you need a box of masks, they are the surgical mask and able to filter out certain things. If you happen to need those free of charge, call down to the Welfare Rights Office, 313-964-0618, and leave the message that you want to come and pick them up. And I'll give you boxes or cases of masks if that's what you want. You have to come to my school to pick them up because I keep those things in the warehouse at my building, but I'd be happy to share any masks for anyone that may be interested. We've got a caller on hold, and I'm going to go straight to this caller right now. Caller, thank you for your patience, and thank you for calling. Ask Welfare Rights. You are on the air, caller. Go ahead.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising,
and
everyone.
Grand Rising, madam, and thank you for calling in, and good morning.
Grand Rising. You know, you mentioned those masks. People need to listen to you and come pick them up. I just heard a report a few days ago that there were over 3,000 deaths this year. The year's not even over with yet from COVID-19.
That's true, and we're talking about in Michigan. Talking about 3,000 across the country. Talking about 3,000 right here. Right. Madam Grand Rising, people don't believe that COVID still lives in our neighborhood. Unbelievable. You know, people are still going to...
It just keeps changing all these variants, you know.
Well...
It may have a different COVID, maybe COVID 35 or COVID 36, but it's still COVID.
It's still COVID.
And it's still a killer.
And it's still COVID, and it's still a killing COVID. Still.
That's right.
You know, just so bizarre. COVID is going to be around because whatever mechanisms we prepare to stop whatever variant it is, or at least try to control it, it goes out at night. I think you and I have had this discussion, and this is the worst boyfriend, the worst girlfriend in the world, and unfaithful, and will go to somebody else's house and have another COVID baby, and you're just the worst girlfriend, boyfriend on earth, and going around making little COVID babies all over the place, and people look like they're not clear about this.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You need to get your shots, your boosters, keep a box of masks in your car, all of that. So if you go into places where folks are around that don't live in your house, you know, just try to be careful because, you know, COVID is still killing people.
Yes, it
You
is.
know.
And
So,
it's got,
Madam Grand Rising, tell us what's new and what information do we need to know from you today?
well, just, also, too, once again, we're still giving out free vaccines, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, free vaccines here in beautiful Highland Park at the Ernest T. Ford Fieldhouse Recreation Center at 10 Pinkett. They're free. Come on now, it's Friday from 9 to 3 o'clock. You can get tested, and also too, you can get a free vaccine or a booster. Wayne County, when we first opened up, we were taking people from the Upper Peninsula. There were lines and lines and lines of people.
You remember there were lines around the block.
Yes.
And people were scared to death because vaccines were not available where they lived. And they were coming from Pellston, from Escanaba, all over the place. Marquette, driving down to Detroit, driving down to Highland Park, driving down to Hamtramck, because we were able to provide free vaccines. My goodness.
Well, it's still going on this Friday from 9 to 3. You can get and you can call Maureen and arrange to get you some masks too.
I'm trying my best.
Because even though you've been vaccinated and you've got your booster, you still have to use these preventative messages. I keep masks in my car.
That's what you should be doing.
And gloves.
Yeah, I have masks, and I will give people a box of masks. There are 50 that come in a box. I will be happy to share them. Keep them in your car. Keep them in your house. I never forget Napoleon, the sheriff. Benny Napoleon, right after he was successful in his race, and people were coming to his house to congratulate him, he said out of his own lips, I knew that I should be wearing my mask, and I had it on most of the time. But somebody came to the door, and it was too far for me to go and get the mask, so I unlocked the door and let them in, and they hugged me to congratulate me. And then the next week, I had a sniffle, and the next week after that, I had a headache, and then I got sick, and then I was in the hospital, and then the spirit came and got me. I'll never forget that conversation. The healthiest guy, working out and everything, but forgot just a moment.
Just a moment.
Put that mask on.
A blink of an eye. That's all it takes. Because it's an airborne virus.
See?
It's an airborne disease.
Miss Perryman, Alexander Tyson, Elvira Wilkerson, my cousin. So many that we lost. It only took a second. Just a moment of not being vigilant. And look at what happened. And that virus is still around.
It's still around.
Yes,
it hasn't gone anywhere. It's still around.
Oh, Lord.
And with that air quality yesterday and day before, that was more reason than ever to mask up.
Absolutely. I thought it was just haze. I thought it was just humid. And that's what that thickness in the air was. It wasn't that at all. Forest fires coming all in the air. And what can you do? You need to be, you just need to get yourself acclimated to the thought that wearing a mask is part of your future from here on out.
Of your future, of your wardrobe. And if you like to, you can be color coordinated, but if not, you just get those surgical masks and you got some prevention there.
Nancy Pelosi used to have color-coded masks. And she wear a blue outfit, she had a blue mask. She had a red outfit, she had a red mask. It became a fashion statement.
A fashion statement.
But fashion, but it also saves lives. Get you a mask. And again, I'd be happy to give people a case. I've got cases. I'd be happy to give you a box. Surgical masks, there are 50 that come in the box. And I'd be happy to give you 1 or 2 or 3. And I've still got light bulbs left. LED light bulbs, 10 come in the package. They last for 10 years. I've got light bulbs. If you come to my school and meet you at the front door, and we'll set it up, and I'll give you light bulbs. Call you in 10 years to make certain that they're still lit, okay? And give you a mask and call you in 10 years to make certain you still lit. So yeah,
Right.
you can get a mask, you can get some light bulbs, you can get all of that. Gifts
Get
of
all
welfare
that.
rights at my school. So people, don't fool around.
Yeah, please
Don't fool
don't.
around.
Please.
Madam Grand Rising, what's going on in Highland Park this week or this month?
Well, I want to again thank you so much for being our motivational speaker last month at General Baker Institute.
Yes.
We had the school board available that was in attendees, as well as the board of directors and some community people. And the food was off the hook, as always.
Yes.
We ate from Detroit Soul Restaurant Catering. And, they cook just like Big Mama, Big
Yes.
Daddy.
It was
And
delicious.
Maureen gave a stirring, heartfelt, motivational, where she shared historical information as well as, what's going on right now. So I just want to thank you for showing up, showing out, and for being you, Maureen, because everybody left nourished from the tummy to the mind to the heart.
I'm glad. And I wanted to bring my A game to my
You brought it.
sisters and brothers in Highland Park. I'm
You
glad
brought it.
and humbled to be invited.
We appreciate you so
All
much.
right.
Yesterday at the school board, we were at the Westin Hotel for a workshop on parliamentary procedures and self-evaluation. It was from 9 to 3. It was a good workshop, examination. Our presenter was Deb Macon. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And I got a lot out of it because it got me to reevaluate, just my position, my thoughts, my votes, just where I am on the school board. And I had to bring this up too. I said, I was having a conversation with one of our younger members, and I was saying to him, being elected on the school board is mission work.
It is. Yes. And it's not
And
a
I
it's
don't
not a
want to put
sprint.
religion into it, but
Yes.
it's also God's work too. Because anytime you help, you serve the least of us, you're doing God's work.
That's what we were told to do. That's our mission. We were told that is what our task is. We are supposed to serve the least of us.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, sounds like you had a good workshop experience, and those
was a good
Robert's Rules of Order, difficult stuff, but it's very important when you're conducting public meetings. You need to know
That's
those
right.
rules. Okay.
You know it. You know it.
All right.
So we're going to tighten up our bylaws and our policies, as well as coming together as a team.
Okay. That's what's necessary. I heard a couple of reports on TV that the negotiations have been successful so far relative to Great Lakes Water Authority and holding them off and pushing things down the line so that deeper negotiations and discussions will happen later on. But it seems like those folks that need to line up to help our sisters and brothers in Highland Park are lining up. And that's a good
Because we
news.
pay our bills in spite of all of the misinformation, the lies.
You know you all don't pay your bills. You know you all are slacking in Highland Park. Y'all don't want to pay no water bills. You know that. Yep.
We pay the highest rate in Michigan in Highland Park in 2.9 square miles. And what I heard on the council meeting, they voted on the mediation situation. And so there'll be no tax levies on your property.
That's an absolute victory, Madam Grand Rising.
Yes, it is.
Absolute victory, because I know that residents in Highland Park were very concerned about that. So, all right, I know that was a victory.
Now, another victory, too, and I have to get clarity on that. Glima then was still saying that we owed $1 million as part of the settlement, and we had today, Friday, to pay it. But then I heard in an appellate court that the judges overruled that.
I heard the same thing. Gliwa is in court doing the best they can to try to strangle Highland Park and get money. What's that phrase? Getting butter from a duck. And I heard that a judge took a look at that, and GLEWA and their gangster attorneys are not going to be able to strong arm the city of Highland Park and say pay us or else, and the judge
Right.
say that's not going to fly. So
That's
I don't
not
know
gonna
all
fly.
the
Like you said,
details
ain't nothing
either.
but gang,
Yeah.
mobsters, thugs.
Yeah, trying to get butter from a duck. But so far it looks like the victories are lining up, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, they are. Court will be reconvened in October.
Yeah.
And so we've got some months to
Navigate,
rejuvenate it.
navigate,
Yeah,
and see
navigate,
where you need to be.
strategize.
Yep. Okay. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful that things are going to work out the way they
Because
should.
you know what? We got buses and car caravans. Washington ain't nothing but a blink of an eye.
There you go. There you go. I like the attitude, and certainly.
They don't know Highland Park.
Oh yeah. Well, your colleagues in Detroit, we standing right with you.
I know you are. We
Okay.
appreciate you and love you so much.
We're standing right here.
We
Okay.
had a really good water protest this past Friday here in Highland Park on Woodward and Manchester. We had residents as well as young millennials was out there on the front line.
All right.
They
Somebody
came
with
from
good
different
knees.
organizations, the Communist Party, the Socialist Party, came from different organizations holding up signs.
Human rights issue, the right to have access to water, and
That's
and
right.
and good, and anybody who, any group of people that have needs that are better than our needs are the people we want outside. There was a time
That's right.
that I could jump over those counters and all that, but I can't do that anymore. So folks with better needs than I have, good, you are welcome, and they need to be on this fight. This is a human rights battle. That's what this
That's right.
is. Highland
right.
Park is leading the way.
You said that. You said that at the
Yeah,
retreat.
I did.
You said that.
Highland Park is in the front leading the way. We have to continue to have access to public water. And all of this strong arm stuff and sticking people up, and low income people got to have a 500% increase on their taxes, all that gangster stuff. No, we have to stand up and fight for what is right. And water is a human right. That's just
Water
all
is
it
a
is.
human
Yep,
right.
yep.
You got it. And you know Highland Park. We don't back down.
That's right.
We may be small, but just like David, we mighty.
And nothing wrong with being small and mighty. It's all good.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
all
that's
right.
about it for Highland Park today.
Yeah, but didn't you all did you all have a block club meeting yesterday, Thursday? Or was that
No, we
last
didn't.
week?
That's next week.
Okay.
Okay. That's next week. But we did have a successful. Oh, since you mentioned that, thank you so much. Last Saturday we had a successful cleanup, streets and alley cleanup.
I remember that. Okay, and
Yeah.
it turned out well.
It turned out well. We also worked on the island too. We have a beautiful island. We had to replant flowers because somebody in the city had misdirection and came and mowed everything down, Maureen.
Been there, seen that, and done
Yeah.
that. I understand that madness. They get to order to mow things and mow grass, and what they do is mow everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I know how that
so
is. Yeah.
we're looking at possibly this fall to do continuation because there's a lot of rubbish that was in those alleys, and we didn't finish, but we will come this fall.
Okay. All right. I like it. Well, now, Madam Grand Rising, is there any other news we need to know about what's going on in and around Highland Park?
Highland Park is not going anywhere. We've been here since 1918.
Ooh,
We'll
Lord.
be here long after that, too. We just want to say to everybody we appreciate and thank and honor you of all the help and support that you've given us throughout these years. We're your sister city, and we just know that united we stand, divided we fall.
That's right. Thank you so very much, Madam Grand Rising. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be back again next Friday, and I hope to hear from you as well.
Same here.
All righty. Thank you much, dear.
Thank you. Love you now.
I love you back. All right now.
Got it.
All righty. 313-8684-336, 313-868-0351, or call us at 313-868-0342. Want to spend a few minutes talking about an action that Walfare Rights is involved in. And that action is we're taking a look at folks that have Section 8 certificates or folks that are on a list to get a Section 8 certificate and running into systemic problems. This is coming because Walfare Rights is aware of about 20 cases, but 3 in particular, where holders of Section 8 certificates have had those certifications either revoked and we had to fight to get them back, or those Section 8 certificates are being threatened in terms of we're going to take it back and kick you out of some Section 8 program, housing voucher, housing choice, housing first choice, the different names. And we have asked, got a couple of attorneys that we've asked to work on this, Friends of Walfare Rights, to ask the Justice Department to get involved. And here's what we're looking for. What are the steps in order, if I've got a Section 8 certificate, what does that mean in terms of the rules? How do I keep it? How do I maintain it? There are documents that I'm supposed to send every year to Lansing. There are forms I'm supposed to fill out every year, send them to Lansing. Other kinds of documentations and verifications that I'm supposed to be involved in. And I send them either to Lansing, but more importantly, I send these things and share these pieces of verifications with community management groups. That's the middleman, the middlewoman. And there are community management groups all around the state that collect documents and forward them to Lansing. And there is a problem with this process. So we're asking the state of Michigan, particularly the Justice Department in the state of Michigan, to stop any threatened evictions, to stop any threatened any threats to revoke a Section 8 certificate for a family until we get some kind of judicial overview, and we want the community involved in looking at what are these programs and what are these procedures that go into telling a family that your Section 8 certificate is no longer in effect, and the following month, if you can't pay the rent required at a homeowner's, property owner's place, you either have to go make another change, go move, or go to a shelter because you're going to be evicted. So Walfare Rights is asking if you know of a family that has a Section 8 certificate that have had some experience with being threatened with eviction or threatened with being homeless because you raised the question about the landlord not fulfilling their requirements to maintain the property. You said something about it, and the next thing you know, the landlord is trying to evict you. This comes as a result of the 3 families I talked about raising issues. One or 2 of them were about mold in the basement. And because the property owners who are Section 8 holders said something to the landlord about you have to do something about the mold, and the landlord is resisting that, the next thing that happened is the landlord said that they needed to move. And then the landlord contacted people in Lansing and said, I want my property back and I want this person to be out. And folks in Lansing take the position where the landlord owns this property and they have the right to evict who they want. So we're asking for involvement, but we're also asking for folks that may have, or someone you know that has a Section 8 certificate, any of the housing voucher programs operated in the state of Michigan, and you've had some rough goals, some experience and whatnot in getting some notices where you're being threatened. We'd like you to call Walfare Rights, 313-964-0618, 313-964-0618. Again, what we're asking is for the courts to stop for at least 30 days, maybe 45 days, stop any pending evictions that may be on the table because of a Section 8 argument that a family is having with one of the management groups or having directly with Lansing. Call us at Welfare Rights. We've got 3 cases. We need probably about 5 more. Well, we got 3 cases. We really only need 2 more, but we want to get as many cases as possible so that we could add some strength to this in asking the state to intervene and not allow any further evictions. So call us at Welfare Rights so we can talk about that. June 10th. June 10th is tomorrow. If you have not already registered to attend the Who's Water film review, it might be too late. We have an overflow capacity already. I'm not sure how we're going to get all these folks in this room. But if you have not already registered to attend, it may be too late. Go to the internet if you've already registered and you don't have the documentation to show that you bought your $7 ticket or you bought your $80 table for your organization, then you might want to just double check to make certain that your name is on the list. If it's not on the list and you don't know what to do, a lot of people are a little concerned about doing these things online. Call us at Welfare Rights. We're part of the People's Water Board Coalition. There are about 45 organizations that are all part of the People's Water Board Coalition. So you want to make certain that you're straight for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 10th. Some of you have pledged to bring your ticket cost to the event itself. We're going to have a table set aside for that. And of course, we're at Wayne County Community College, the Northwest District. Our event starts at 4. What do you call it? The appetizers are served at 4:05. Film starts at 5 o'clock. So we'll be there in the college. Beautiful accommodations being made for us on the first floor. Handicap accessible rooms and space available. I think we have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and we've got everything set up. So again, call us at Welfare Rights if you have any questions. 313-964-0618, 964-0618. That's for the Who's Water film documentary that's going to be shown. This is the gala premiere. The gala premiere. Let me drop that call there. This is the gala premiere of that movie. The first time we're showing it to a huge audience. We've been involved for about 5 years. The producer director is a award-winning documentarian, Kate Levy. And we've worked with her, a number of us, for about 4 or 5 years to pull these pieces together. This is a depiction. This is an expose, a presentation of different cities across the nation that are having trouble accessing clean water, clean, affordable water, and sanitation. And it's just something to see. It's heart-rendering. I say we're going to start at 4 o'clock. Film starts at 5. We will be out of the space. The film is a little less than 2 hours. Got an intermission in between. And at the end, question and answers, because the people who have been involved in organizing this, we will all be at the same place. So between 7:30 and 8 o'clock tomorrow night, your transportation, your own private transportation, whoever it is you're riding with will be taking you back home. So it's still daylight outside. So if you haven't registered, might be too late. Call us at Welfare Rights to make certain that you're on the will call list and you're going to bring your ticket price there. And if not, we'll have to just catch you the second time around when we get ready to show the film again. After it leaves Detroit, It's going to why can't I remember in Colorado? It's going to San Diego. It's going to Durango. That's the place I wanted to mention. It's going to Durango, where the Navajo Nation is, and it's just unbelievable to me. I know Marion and I used to talk about this. Native Americans living on reservations and don't have access to water, don't have running water in their homes, living on reservations in shacks, and have kitchens and have running water in the kitchen, but don't have bathrooms inside their homes. It's just so scandalous. It's so very scandalous, and that's where one of the reviews takes place. One of our dear friends' name is Chili Lazi. Chili is a Native American, a Vietnam veteran, wounded in Vietnam, who is one of the primary voices and advocates for bad treatment by the government, who will not make these corporations stop stealing our fresh water. That's what's going on tomorrow. I wanted to say, it was one more thing. Cincinnati, it's one more place where this is happening, and I'm trying to remember. San Diego next week, Durango the week after that. It'll come back to me. The film shows up. Lowndes County. I remember. Catherine Flowers, another really good friend of ours. Catherine Flowers that used to live in Lowndes County, one of those southern areas where access to water. I mean, you got poor people living in trailers, black, white, native, Hispanic, living in trailers with water bills in excess of $500 and $600 a month. You just can't make this stuff up. So that's part of what you will see if you're part of this activity tomorrow at Wayne County Community College. Today is June 9th. My mom would have been 100 years old today had she lived. June the 9th, she would have been 100 years old. And if she had lived that long, I would have taken care of her every step of the way. Every step of the way. So happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Mom. Wanted to make certain I said that. And then let me get back to these calls that we're starting to get down at Walfare Rights in terms of people calling me at my job to say that they're behind on a light and a gas bill. They're behind on a light and a gas and a water bill. And I can't, calling me when the lights are off. And I think Marion and I talked about, don't wait to the last minute. I think we've only raised that issue maybe 8,000 times. And people still wait to the last minute. And when you ask, well, why did you call us before? Because it's very difficult to get lights and gas restored, to get water restored once they're turned off. Well, I thought I could do it. And my cousin said she was going to give me some money. And my uncle said he was going to pay the bill. All of that's just excuses. If you get behind on your light, gas, water taxes, you know you're behind. You know you're behind on that first month. You know you're behind on that first 30 days. So call us at Walfare Rights right away so we can start organizing and putting together some plans to get you time to get that bill paid, get somebody to help you get that bill paid before it gets so lost in the weeds. We have to dive down in the weeds to help you. And we tired of going into the weeds. You don't have to go deep, deep, deep to try to do all this. Right before the program starts, there's a commercial. It's called the Wayne County Treasurer, the MIHOF information. MI stands for Michigan, H stands for Housing, A stands for Assistance, F stands for Fund. The Michigan Housing Assistance Fund, 313-388-9799. Why do we have to keep talking about this? 388, it's area code 313-388 $97.99. They will pay up to $25,000 in back taxes. What are we waiting for? They will help you with a light bill, with a gas bill, with a delinquent water bill. They even found a way to help people with internet that's down, and that's because you need access, especially students, to internet activities. And they'll help you if your internet bill is not paid and you don't have access to it. What are you waiting for? We have to keep begging you to go get help. The treasurer had a special meeting. He's talking about this for sure every Friday. Commercials on TV. They have call-in programs. Wayne Metro is the 388-9799 number that we have been advertising for several years. They have money to help with a light bill, a gas bill, all those things. We told you that from November to March the 31st, seniors are protected from shutoff. We told you a million times, don't listen to that. Don't not pay. Pay something on your light bill, your gas bill, certainly your water bill, because on April the 1st, that protection evaporates. And now people got a message in April 1st that you're delinquent and you owe $1,000, you owe $750, you owe $812, whatever it is, that you didn't pay over those previous months. And now here comes April. Now they want that bill paid, lights and gas. That's DTE, Consumers Power, Sunshine Power. They want that bill paid, and you have 30 days to pay it. So that's from April 1st to April 30th. Here comes May. Now here comes the notice with the red line on it. Now you're in shutoff status. It's May. It's just the beginning of June, and they're coming to take your energy. I don't know what else we can say. Act now, 313-388-9799. Do something. Back to this housing issue. We've got a number of people that are looking and searching for affordable housing. One of our dearest members and friends, Jean and Harriet, realtors. And they do a lot of work in terms of new homes, less work in rental homes, but they also dabble in that and they get that information. And for a long time now, they've been explaining to all of us that there's a problem in the rates, rental rates for monthly rent going up higher and higher and higher. And now it's almost impossible to find places to rent with 1 and 2 bedrooms or more for less than $1,000 a month. And it never used to be this way. So once again, this Section 8 issue is very important. People that are looking for affordable housing, you better call us down at Walfare Rights, because we're putting together a mass effort, We need hundreds of people who are looking for affordable housing. And affordable to me, affordable to Walfare Rights, means that a percentage of whatever your current income is. So if you're on SSI and you earn, let's say, $1,200 a month, I'm just picking a number, maybe 10% of your income should go for housing. So 10% of $1,200 is $120. That should be what your rental amount is, all right? Because you don't have too much more. So we want to talk about that. We're going to pull together legislation and give it to Stephanie Chang, give it to Rashida Tlaib, take it to Biden, take it to whoever else we need to take it, so that we can get some kind of relief on housing. We have a wonderful HUD secretary. Her name is Marsha Fudge. We're going to get Marsha Fudge into the Detroit area. This is June, and we're involved with 2 other projects, so we may not be able to get to this to July or maybe even August. But she has promised to come and bring her team. We're going to have some kind of a town hall meeting somewhere, more than likely Wayne County Community College downtown campus in the atrium area. And we're going to bring 2,000 or 3,000 people together so that our HUD secretary can hear the difficulties that we are having in Wayne County, in Detroit, in Highland Park, in Hamtramck, in Oakland County, in Macomb County, and talk about the problems that we're having. She is an outstanding community-based HUD director. She's the secretary, the boss lady. Let me say it like that. And I had a chance to meet with her and a couple of members of her team that I'm really close with. Dr. Ruth, Ethan, and some of those other folks. And the secretary has committed. I want to come. I said to her, we'll give her a case of cranberry juice. She loves it. I do too. We're going to bring her a case and we'll send it to her office so that she can have cranberry juice for at least 30 days. And she wants to come, promises to spend a day with us. My goodness, we're not going to get that event and that activity again. We're going to have lawyers that work with Walfare Rights on housing and water access issues. We're going to get clergy that's been working with Walfare Rights and the People's Water Board Coalition, several clergy members, and bring those folks into the room so that they can give a report to Madam Secretary Marsha Fudge about the length of time that we've been involved in this fight. And then we're going to have this town hall meeting. Again, more than likely, nothing is set up, no dates and no places yet. But our favorite place is certainly mine, Wayne County Community College downtown. Dr. Ivory is the chancellor, Susan Wiley, the lead organizer for many things that we've been involved in. And we're going to set that atrium up with about 1,200 seats, put some flat screens around the room, put a couple of flat screens out in the parking lot because we already know it's going to be an overflow crowd so people can look and listen and hear what's happening. See if we can get some, I forgot what you call it, remote videotaping for a certain channel. At that time, we're talking about an event that's probably going to last about 2 hours. Thank you much. At least 2 hours to get us involved and get people involved. And at that event and before that event, don't have a date yet. Don't know when we're going to start. But we're going to fill out some applications that Walfare Rights are going to create. If you're interested in a Section 8 housing certificate or voucher where we can explain what a certificate is, what a voucher is. If you're interested and you think you qualify, and qualifications mean, and then we'll list those, you're elderly, you're disabled, you're low income, whatever those qualifications are, and we go create our own community application. Fill this out and make copies and copy, what do you call it, driver's licenses and all that. So when Madam Secretary gets here, we hope to have several hundred or more of our own created applications that we will give to her so she can take it back to Washington, have her crew look at it, review it, see what the next step is. And everybody that's on that list that we create, everybody that's in that pile that we create, they send a formal application so we can get this doggone process working. You all love that guy, Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, who was the head of HUD for the 4 years that Trump was in office. And he didn't do anything but cut your throat. You know, seniors need to reapply for a Section 8 certificate to make certain you're still a senior. How ridiculous. And so many people got cut off because the paperwork wasn't right. That's why we're involved in this Section 8 activity now. I urge you, please, do what you can do to get off into the neighborhood. Wear your mask. If you don't have a mask, call me at Walfare Rights. Come to my job. I'll give you the mask. I'll give you some light bulbs. Get out in the neighborhood so we can correct some things that have been falling apart. Not just these last 3 years, but for about 8 or 9 years, things have been falling apart. Call them out. It's going to be at the event tomorrow. Some folks from We the People are going to be at Wayne County Community College tomorrow. People's Water Board Assembly going to be there. Richard Harrison and the lovely Miss Elizabeth, Richard that used to broadcast down here, will be our guest tomorrow at the Who's Water event. So I don't know what else to say. We've given you information about stopping shutoffs for lights and gas. My Health information is available to help with back taxes, arrearage mortgages, land contract deals that you couldn't finish, something happened. 313-388-9799. Please call that number. And even if you're not sure if you qualify or not, call them. Call them. Don't call once and leave a number and then say, well, it's been 2 days and they didn't call me back. Be active. Call them every hour, every daytime hour that you're woke. This is the second message. This is the third message. This is the fourth message. Weatherization soon is going to be available where you need a roof leak fixed and you've got air in your windows and you need some windows replaced. You have to call 388-9799. We're tired of holding your hand and holding you on our shoulders. Our shoulders are tired. You have to get out here and get involved. There are many, many things that are happening. What's most important to me at this moment, who's that handsome guy? Oh, that's HT walking through here. See, who's that handsome devil walking through here? All right. So we are looking for folks with Section 8 certificates. We are looking for people that have Section 8 vouchers. We're looking for folks that are living in rental properties and may have had some problems with landlords, may have had some problems with structural problems. The roof is leaking and the steps are falling apart and the landlord won't fix anything. There's mold in the basement, all those kinds of things we need to know, and we need to hear about those things. You have to call us at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618. Thank you, sir. All right, 313-964-0618. What else is it? Oh, Right to Renew. Met with a group of young folks over at GBI at the great, General Baker Institute this week that just passed. And these young folks in Ann Arbor, a couple of them from Ypsilanti, and several of them in the Detroit area, trying to push legislation together to talk about the right to renew a lease, even over the landlord's objections. If you are told by a landlord that I just need my place because my daughter is coming, and they need to have a place to live, so you need to leave. That legislation, that kind of conversation is being lifted right now. And as a tenant, you have rights. Now, I think that it should be illegal to evict anybody. I just don't think that that's the proper thing to do, to tell people you have to leave your place. I think there needs to be a committee set up that keeps a list of available houses, available apartments, available townhouses, available units. And as somebody is being told you have 30 days or 60 days or 90 days to vacate the property, that landlord, that property owner, needs to get in contact with this group and say, this family is 3 of them or 4 of them or it's 5 family members, whatever it is. Here's what they've been paying, so that this other group can get involved and find affordable housing so the family or the individual is not evicted. They're just relocated from this place to this place. So we can stop all this. You know, we have a lot of vacant housing in Detroit. Whole lot of vacant housing in Hamtramck. A lot of vacant housing in Highland Park. So we need to get at this. And this right to renew is part of this Section 8 inquiry that we're dealing with. So if you're under the gun and there's a landlord saying you need to get out and you need to move someplace, then we need to hear from you down at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618. Well, my engineer is saying that it's time for us to wrap up this project and wrap up this program this evening. I've given you numbers that you should be calling. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I told Grand Rising, and I'll tell you. Next Friday, I hope to be with you. And let's see if we can get the station to repeat this program several times over the next week so you will all have the information. My name is Maureen Taylor. I work with Welfare Rights. Thank you and goodbye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its 3rd year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.